And welcome to the SmackDown Preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture. Joined by another from WhatCulture, Michael Sidgwick. We'll get to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we're not going to review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And I want to say a massive thank you to Michael Sidgwick, Senator, this week for filling in on all the podcasts as a certain someone is, this may shock you, on holiday.
Not another one.
He's been celebrating his 40th. Good for him. He'll be back next week, though.
He'll be dead soon as well.
And yes. And a quick bit of admin. Due to the weird way that the holidays work here in the UK, there will be no SmackDown review or Collision review because it's a bank holiday.
Bank holiday on Monday, so I will be. I don't know. I think we're going to the coast.
Oh, nice! I might join you. Not
Can if you want.
Yeah, but
why not?
The weather's looking good, isn't it? Too hot, if anything.
Too hot, if anything.
But yes, we are here to talk about Friday Night SmackDown with not a great deal advertised, to be honest. But I know, like probably Hamlet was doing in the past couple of weeks, Michael Sidgwick has had his calendar there and he's crossing off every single day. Whoa, and the day has finally arrived for Aleister Black's in-ring return on SmackDown tonight. And what a match. It's The Miz.
The funniest, right, I understand. I don't want to, overstate things here. Like, this isn't the final direction for Aleister Black. This isn't what he's been, dreaming about as he goes to sleep. This is a introductory affair designed for Aleister Black to have hopefully a short match. Actually, no. Let's face it.
It's 3 hours.
He's on my Mount Ickmore.
Ooh.
Is Ali Black, right? I've got an extensive history of going, I know what you're doing and I don't like it. So I will say one thing nice right now. I'm sure he's not that bad in real life. There are probably, in fact, certainly worse people in pro wrestling. I just hate it more than is rational when people play dumb with me.
Right.
Don't play dumb with me. I know what's going on. Be transparent. Don't pretend that you're doing one thing when you're doing another. I cannot sanction it.
This applies to Dax Harwood.
Right, let's just talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Dax Harwood doing the whole worked shoot gimmick towards, what was it, the end of 2022? I've lost count of time. Track of time, when he does this gimmick where there's a bidding war for his services. I might go back to WWE if that social media team don't start. So it's pathetic. So the guy who claims he doesn't do it for Meltzer or star ratings, and yes, these awards are voted on by the voter base, not Meltzer himself, but whatever. So his whole gimmick is no flips, just fists. I don't care about no star ratings. The Wrestling Observer presents its awards. FTR are awarded Tag Team of the Year in the dumbest possible work shoot storyline. Dax Harwood, babyface, does this thing where, even though he doesn't care about acclaim or awards, just the emotion of the fans, the loud voices of the fans, and Tequila and his daughter and professional wrestler, seems to, and this is what I infer and other people do as well, coordinates with AEW social media team who do little graphics saying the winners, the winners of the Wrestling Observer Awards, who happen to be in AEW, will get bang, bing, bang, boom. Little graphics.
Osprey and the like.
Yeah, it was before Osprey, but you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Congratulations to, I don't know, whoever versus whoever. You got the match of the year, and it was in AEW, and AEW's social media created these graphics, and da-da-da-da-da. And omitted was FTR, and I think this is a coordinated thing, purely so Dax could go, we are getting disrespected by this company. Maybe we won't be disrespected if we bounce. And then people are like, this is exhausting. This is really exhausting. And then he resigns to the AEW, which suddenly is the greatest company in the world because he does rah-rah speeches. So it's not that disrespectful to him. Awful. That did, I know it's a bubble and the rest of it, but that did nothing for his career.
No.
Absolutely less than nothing. So much so that when he tried to do that rah-rah speech, he got heckled within an inch of his life, maybe because people didn't quite buy him as the rah-rah guy because he'd spent however many months teasing that he wasn't happy in AEW with all those ellipsis Twitter posts with a little ellipsis on the end going, top guys out. Or, maybe we aren't getting respected. Yeah. So I don't like it when he plays, though. This little stupid game, which I'm so glad is over. I'll watch a best of 7 series between Ricky Starks and Lexis King out of pure relief that this little game is over because both Ricky Starks and Tony Khan were playing dumb when Ricky said, healthy, good to go. I want to contribute. I want to wrestle. Okay, ball is in your court, Tony. Ricky Starks is a great wrestler. Looking forward to hopefully getting him in the mix sometime. Hang on. Tony wants to book Ricky. Ricky wants to go to work. Ipso facto.
Is he on Dynamite?
Yeah. What happened there then? Could it possibly be that one of two things has happened? Ricky Starks is almost certainly going to WWE, and by sheer coincidence, he's there as we speak. And he might have wanted to do that for at least a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. Okay. And Tony Khan was thinking, well, I'd rather promote someone who wants to be here, and I've got tied up for a lot longer. So I'm just going to go with them instead, because it's pretty obvious that Ricky Starks wants to go to WWE. And why is that obvious? You might ask one more time. Well, here's the answer one more time. He works there now. So maybe that's why Tony didn't want to book Ricky, and maybe Ricky Starks, who I'm sure at some point across various media interviews has somewhat contradicted himself. I never turned down a creative pitch. I'm down to do whatever. He didn't want to feud with Big Bill. In fact, he wasn't that keen on doing the tag team in the first place. And maybe if Tony did ask him to do something, he might have went no. And I guess that's fair enough. The life of an independent contractor, like you're going somewhere else, you probably want to keep your cachet. Both of them played dumb together. What an exhausting game that was, and I'm so glad it's over. Right. I think Malachi Black might be the worst in one of my least favorite genres of things. Like, sucking his dick, numbnutch. I'm not going anywhere. What is it about me waving my hands from side to side and kissing you all goodbye?
Embracing my opponent after the match.
That's a separate occasion, mate.
Oh, sorry.
So, All Out 2022, farewell. Farewell, the great warrior is departing. Thank you for everything. Actually, what are you doing that for? We've got you for about 3 more years.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, well, the House of Black, including Aleister Black, they're in a match, but don't need them to win. I want them to win. All right, okay, well, thank you. Put 2 other teams in there, and one of them can do the pin. Okay. Right, okay, well, we've tried to build this thing on Collision. It's a feud between FTR and House of Black, okay? And do you want FTR to win? I mean, they're signed for longer, they're bigger stars, the baby faces, they win these kinds of stories. Okay. Steel cage, so I don't have to take the pin. Well, that's the rumor. That is the rumor. Unfounded or otherwise, that was the rumor. Okay, we need another 4-way match. Okay. Why don't you put a little ladder in there, and the winners can climb it, and do my shoulders go to the mat? 1, 2, 3? No.
I think so.
No. That Adam Cole match, I almost had an aneurysm. I almost had an aneurysm, right, when he does it. Everyone watching it, right? And the worst thing is it was a pretty mediocre match, and Aleister Black does Jack Perry was doing it at the same time. These people trying to be Raven. Remember Jack Perry?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be Raven. He's the size of Tyler Fullington. Ali Black was also a big fan of doing the whole, the great noble warrior has been vanquished in a 2 3/4 star match. As I wrote at the time and said at the time, if The Undertaker had have sort of done that whole, well, the great warrior, after all of these legendary, spectacular matches on the grandest stage of them all, it's finally time for me to accept that I'm a mere mortal and my end is here. I will collapse to the mat. Welcome my destiny. Please pin me, it is over. Now I rest. I would have thought, just do the job, Undertaker. I understand you want your grand send-off, but just do the job,
yeah.
Mate. Just do the job, do the job. Do the job. Do the job. Do the job. It's not that hard. You're not that much of a star. You're really not. And then afterwards, he was like, the great noble warrior, with his noble warrior death. Finally, I have selected a soul worth vanquishing that I'm defeated. And then he retreats up the ramp. There's a little look of Cole of he says to Adam Cole, Aleister Black, Malachi Black, as he was known at the time. He looks to Adam Cole, and it's this big moment. And he looks at Cole, and they share a respectful glance at one another. And then Aleister Black sort of looks at Cole and just looks outwardly at everyone and says, we really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we? No, you didn't. You weren't that good even. So why are you going on like you are the biggest deal going, and that you leaving is some... Well, we had some great times, but now it is time to bid you adieu. We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we? No, not remotely. Not remotely. Not at all. Not at all. And then everyone goes, all right, well, he's leaving.
Yeah.
Usually when people say goodbye to me.
Goodbye.
Hello. Again. That's not how it works, is it?
No.
Because say it again.
At the end of the week. Bye, Sidge.
Yeah. Hello again. That's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. It is incorrect. So when he says bye, with the hug and the old AEW, goodbye. I'm not leaving. What? You can't say this again. You can't say this again. You can't say this again. And then he hops onto Instagram or whatever he does. He goes, I'm sick of this. Does this have to happen every damn time? He said that. It seems like every single time people think I'm leaving.
What is your obsession with my box of mystery?
Go on Cage Match, please. Can you just go on Cage Match for me right now? Because as soon as the Adam Cole match finished with that ridiculous finish, and everyone was like, all right, okay, well, I guess he is leaving after all. And then he takes to social media and goes, I'm not leaving. And then, it really annoys me because I think Brody King seems like a sound dude. And Buddy Matthews, whatever. They both play the same social media game afterwards and subtweet everyone tweeting about it and going, oh God, nice to know that everyone's leaving. Ha 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 ha. Well, he did. You've just pulled up Cage Match, correct?
Yep.
Could you go on Aleister/Malachi Black's most recent page?
Yes.
What was the last match written down there?
He worked a CCW match, but the last AEW match was after his match with Adam Cole on AEW Dynamite. There's 3, actually. The last one was Full Gear 2024.
And what famous match was that?
That was the AEW World Tag Team title 4-way.
Another 4-way.
Kings of the Black Throne, Private Party, Acclaimed, and the Outrunners.
Who did the job?
I don't think it was the Kings of the Black
No,
Throne.
me neither. Did Malachi Black get pinned?
I'm fairly certain no. I also like the fact that he did the goodbye and farewell on the AEW Dynamite episode and then recorded a collision the next night facing the Iron Savages.
But so Adam Cole, and then how many more matches after that?
3 more after Cole.
Yeah, son of a bitch. So technically, it's like, I have not wrestled my last match for AEW, sir, and how foolish of you to think that, and how not nice, how unpleasant of you to think that I, in fact, have left. Okay. So he's not incorrect. I have not worked my last day. You got 3 more, mate. You have got 3 more. As I talk about what I want out of Aleister Black versus The Miz, could you just check Full Gear 2024, a recap, and just find out who got the pin for me?
Yeah.
And then we'll actually play a little game. You can press the button. What I want out of Aleister Black versus The Miz, because I'm a little bit of a hater, I will say, right, Aleister Black had some great matches in NXT. Never really liked the character. A bit dorky for me. That match within a match he had against Kenny Omega was superb at Revolution 2023. The trios match there, exchanging it, was wonderful professional wrestling. I absolutely love Malachi Black's leg sweep. I love that feigned back elbow, that Muay Thai styling. Muay Thai, I don't know how to pronounce it. I am an idiot at the end of the day. I think that his best work is great. And I've got a game for you to play, actually.
Ooh.
Okay. But I cannot sanction his playing dumb, his weird cryptic nonsense, his absolutely ridiculously bad attempt to manipulate narratives, his bold-faced audacity to pretend something else is going on. I would have driven him to the Performance Center myself, to quote the great Benno. I don't even drive. I would have learned how to drive at great expense and great anxiety just to do it if I had to do it at some point. Ergo, because it's 3 hours long, as a little bit of a hater, okay, and there's other people in media who just don't like him, and you can tell, but they won't say it. I kind of want this to go 9 minutes. And it might, because it's 3 hours and they need to pad out the runtime. Mm-hmm. Part of me would quite like it if they went like 9 minutes and it's just thoroughly bland and he doesn't get much out of it. I expect it to go literally 20 seconds.
Yeah, Black Mass, 1, 2, 3 sort of thing.
Same again.
Yeah, I mean, they've sort of cheated a little bit, haven't they, in terms of the traditional route is the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Someone comes out like, I didn't get my opportunity at WrestleMania. I'll fight anyone in the back. Someone comes out, it's a returning star or a debut or whatever. And there's where you have the match. Last week, they've sort of had their cake and eaten it too. Last week, Miz comes out and says, look at my Wikipedia page, I should have been on WrestleMania. Eats a Black Mass from Aleister Black to set this match up where there is no question about the winner. Like you say, this is not the start of a feud between The Miz and Aleister Black. It is just getting him his first win. Like he looks amazing. He never has looked bad in terms of when he walks out there. And he has
I saw the singles match with Brian Keith.
But I sense they have big plans for him. Obviously, he's a big Triple H guy. And Vince basically back in the day was like, I'll keep the entrance and then whatever, just sit in a cupboard, ask for people for fights that don't actually happen. Okay. I sense bigger things for this. I hope maybe this factors into the bigger sort of Miz Mello storyline in terms of like Mello.
So they got like a thing, a catchphrase or a team name. So I don't know what it is.
They are Mello, don't Miz, and they are us him. But I quite like the story that potentially could go on here of Mello is just going on to bigger and better things and finally getting the recognition he deserves. He won the Andre, obviously. He's got that gold chain that Miz has bought him with Andre's head on it. Maybe Miz tries to get him to help and interfere with him, and he's like, I'm not getting involved with Aleister Black, thank you very much. And Miz keeps on spiraling down. He inevitably is going to turn on Mello because Mello's just class, and his offense, as good as he was as a heel in NXT, his offense just lends itself far more to being a babyface. But yeah, Andrade. Aleister Black is going to absolutely run through the Miz, or should.
Yeah, if he wants. He should go 8 minutes.
Full Gear, your question. It was Matt.
I was playing the game.
Oh, sorry.
I promised the people. Oh, it's all right. I've got a game.
We've got lots of games.
I've got a game for you. We've got more games coming up.
I didn't think we were going to have a lot to talk about, but your rant on Aleister Black has helped us out here.
Thank you. So just because I interjected there, could you tell the listeners whether or not Malachi Black did a job on the way out that it wasn't Adam Cole? On his last night, did he take the pin?
Did Malachi Black, as he was then, lose the match at Full Gear?
No, dear, that's wrong.
Who did? Max Caster did
Correct.
the job. Jesus Christ almighty. I've got one more thing to say before I give you the game.
And I've got a game for you.
Oh, yeah. Here it is. Okay. Part of me likes being annoyed. Part of me likes to see something happening purely so I can have a rant about it. I find it cathartic. It entertains me. What if he's like a total demon? And he's just like throwing himself around and he's like doing moonsaults and his back is absolutely in great nick. I don't necessarily think it is, in fairness. Just so I can get annoyed. Where was that then?
Yeah.
Where was that when you weren't wrestling Kenny Omega? Where was that against Brian Keith? What if he's like so dynamic and springy and, you know, that 2018 Malachi Black, Alistair Black, whatever his stupid dog-ass name is.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Adam Wilbourn, other than pick a fight, tell me anything Alistair / Malachi Black has ever said.
I have no idea. I could probably go back on my notes from
No, from memory.
No, from memory, no idea.
Your computer took your job, daddy. Austin 316. I'm going to run through any of the WWF superstars, and I'm fixing to run through all of them. If you smell, you know, right? No, going. I was born with a golden spoon. Cashmere. $6,000 lizard shoes. Okay. If a guy cannot do or allegedly doesn't want to do the job, the implication behind which is, I'm too big of a star for that, right? If you're such a big star, I'm going to nosedive in the cockpit, Hulk Hogan. Okay? What I'm doing here is doing quotes from actual top wrestling stars, and you can wallow in the muck of avarice. Because those stars create memorable, indelible impressions on the people who grew up watching them. And you can quote what they say. And, you know, if I was going to do Kenny Omega, could I do it? Yeah, I could do it. First try. Name anything Alistair Black, other than pick a fight, has ever said. Because if he's this great promo and this great wrestling mind with this wonderful storytelling and grasp of his character, you should be able to do it on the spot. And if he doesn't want to do a job, or if he allegedly doesn't want to do a job, or he sees AEW as second rate, and the whole idea is he belongs in WWE, where he can be this big, massive star, surely you should have done something, or rather said something that people remember. Enjoy your infamy, Velveteen Dream. Other than that.
All I can find from, because this is the first match in 5 years, basically, and I've got a question for you after that. I've delved into my extensive notes from, well, around the time he was feuding with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, when he had that stable that I know you're a huge fan of. This is May 2020. I think this is pre-Money in the Bank. AJ Styles says he will do anything to get the Money in the Bank contract. If he had to throw Rey Mysterio or Aleister Black off the building, he would. A bit of teasing what was about to come there. Styles said he'd win the contract and become Mr. Money in the Bank. And then later on, Aleister Black cut a promo.
What would his briefcase look like? It would look like it would be pitch black.
Yeah.
And it would have little, instead of a handle, it would have like antlers.
Aleister Black cut a promo about Styles in a dark, smoky room. Black said he would get the contract and Styles would wish that he was buried deeper than 6 feet. So that's one thing he said once. But Michael Sidgwick, as I said, this is Aleister Black's first match in WWE in just under 5 years.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Who was his last match against? Save time. This was, to remind you, before his return in August of 2021 against Cody Rhodes in AEW. This was the 12th of October 2020. And it was not Seth Rollins or Murphy.
It was on Raw.
It was on Raw. It was on the draft episode of Raw, in fact. Oh, that one of those bugs I told you about just dropped off my head.
Oh, honestly, they're disgusting. Little green ghouls, buddy.
Green guys.
Aleister Black versus... Can I have 3 guesses?
3 guesses.
He was bopping about. Drew?
No, dear, that's wrong.
2020. It was a bloody ghost town over on Raw. Keith Lee?
No, dear, that's wrong.
God, I've repressed so much of this.
I'm not surprised.
Kevin Owens? Yes!
I felt certain you were going to say Apollo Crews after their epic.
I wouldn't have touched that again. He did the job, did he?
He was defeated in a no disqualification match by Kevin Owens.
Thou must use weapons to vanquish mine soul.
There's also the run of his last 10 matches. They're all like Aleister Black versus Murphy, or Aleister Black versus Murphy and Austin Theory, or Murphy and Seth Rollins. So many Debbie Deeks in here.
Oh God, I can imagine.
No contest on Raw. The week after, no contest on Raw. The week after, a tag match. Humberto Carrillo was tagging with Aleister Black. I wonder who. Anyway, week after that, a 21-minute match with Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw.
God, I bet you it was absolutely 3.5 stars.
But I'm excited to see him tonight. Let's see what you got, pal.
What else you got? Well, I'm expecting, I'm a big star. Come on, you big star. You've been pumping yourself up. You think you're better than everything and everybody else. Too good for AEW, it seems like. Why even go there in the first place? Huh?
On the rest of SmackDown.
So here, this is probably too cynical, but All Out 2022, we're talking, what, a month or 2 after Levesque gets the job? Mm. The second that his beloved Levesque gets the job, he's like, well, I must go now. I must return home to my father. It's like, that's not how it works. I don't care who's booking it. You're under contract. It's like, but I love him. One more thing on him. One more thing. I might have told this on the podcast before. Can you, or have you ever heard, can you remember or have you heard the Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins?
Yeah.
So the Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers quote about the 2019 Hall of Fame.
Was that the one where someone tackled Brett?
Yeah. So what happens is, this was on the action figure pod that Myers and Cardona have got. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about that incident. And, it was horrible, obviously. Bret Hart got, attacked. And he's had some fun with it. MJF used it as a thing. So we can use the story pertaining to it for comedic purposes. It's fine. Bret seems over it and had some fun with it at Double or Nothing 2019, okay? When asked why Brian Myers wasn't, wasn't it Cash Wheeler who was like, come on, get him.
Chinned him.
Why he wasn't one of the ones who went out there and rushed. He said that he didn't hear any commotion because when, was it DX inducted? Because they were all in the ring.
Possibly.
Because they were all in the ring, and that's when he called AEW Pissan Company.
Yeah,
so maybe it was a DX induction, right? But nonetheless, Levesque was in that ring, called AEW Pissan Company 2019 Hall of Fame. When asked why he didn't rush the ring, Brian Myers, like other wrestlers, when the attack happened, he said he didn't hear a commotion. His eardrums had exploded because Aleister Black was popping too much at Triple H.
With regards to the rest of SmackDown, we have an appearance set.
Levesque, he's the booker now. Goodbye. No. That's not how it works. That might have happened, it might not. We're just having some fun on this podcast. Just having some fun.
Randy Orton is set to appear. He obviously RKO'd John Cena last week, and he's set to face him next week. It's next Saturday, Backlash, for the championship, of course. I don't know what I suppose. He's kind of got the upper hand in every occasion he's been there. I assume John Cena's not going to appear tonight.
Well, he would have been advertised,
Yeah.
wouldn't he? That's what I have some fun with it. But then, say if he does appear, you could say, look, they need to do this date countdown again.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll add some heft and some, do I actually want him to go? It's like, yeah, I'll learn to drive and do it myself, if anything. But the people who still like him, for whatever reason, might have that sense of anxiety. Or if there's anyone who actually believes that the lineage of the world title is under threat, even though people have left with it and, you know, people have vacated it for no real reason. Like, it's, you know, the Mr. McMahon character won it and then just dropped it. Is that not the exact same thing? Like, just willingly gave it up, didn't want it anymore. Not wanting it anymore has happened more than once in the lineage, and that's essentially what Cena's doing. He's saying, I don't want it anymore. I'm not going to defend it. It retires with me. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The storyline's baseless, whatever. But if Cena came back unadvertised, he could then taunt the crowd and say, look, you've only got so much time with me left, and you might not even be able to anticipate each of these appearances. And if he does it once, maybe it is a bad thing, actually, because if he does it once, people might expect it to happen.
Maybe.
So maybe they will stay true to it. I don't know. Randy Orton's going to cut a long promo.
Probably, yeah. He's going to talk about the history that these two have got together, obviously. What was it, 20, 25 years?
Jesus Christ. SmackDown's only 3 hours long, bro. If Randy Orton comes out and cuts a promo detailing the long history between him and John Cena, you'd need to do a show the length of Big Egg Wrestling Universe.
I will say we apparently only have a month left of 3 hours.
He'll still be talking on Raw.
Yeah.
If he starts talking on SmackDown about his rivalry,
Was it 80 matches we worked out?
something like that. If he
Televised.
starts talking on SmackDown on Friday about his rivalry with John Cena, you better get on a plane because he'll have to finish it on Raw. Even if he opens the show.
We have a month left of 3 hour SmackDowns, apparently, according to WrestleVotes. I think Meltzer said as much as well.
Good.
Start of June. June 6th, I want to say, is going to be the first 2 hour SmackDown. Far more preferable. I know you're not a fan of either, but 2 hours did seem to work a lot better for SmackDown, didn't it?
Certainly it did. I will concede that. Yeah, these 3 hours are brutal.
There was a
brutal.
There was a lot of excitement, certainly from me and Hamfort, with regards to SmackDown.
I'm sure there was
3 hours.
I'm sure there was. Why would you? Boy, God, are you dumb?
But there was potential for them to just be like, well, we've already got this great 2 hours. What's it going to be when they change it to 3 hours? And it was just like,
crap.
There's so many more potential for matches.
If only there was an unbelievable precedent that ruined wrestling under monopoly rule even more to tell you this is going to be a terrible idea.
I don't know what we were expecting, but I think we were hoping for
Couple
more.
of Marks. Mark Wilbourn and Mark Hamflett.
Yeah. But Randy Orton, I sense, we'll talk about the history he's had together. And my idea for tonight, if there is no John Cena, aside from, I don't know, bloody Grayson Waller, or no, he's in Perth talking about bloody, was it Crown Jewel?
Crown Jewel.
Heading there.
Crown Jewel.
So maybe Austin Theory's like, well, he's off doing that. I want to make a name for myself. I'm going to kick your ass, Randy Orton. And he just beats him up and RKOs him, whatever. What if instead Randy Orton's like, we've been up and down these roads, John, but I think you've...
And up and down and...
Yeah.
And up and down.
I think you've forgotten who I am, right? I'm Randy Orton.
How have you forgotten? He's been in it since 2002.
I'm Randall Keith Orton.
2002 he's been in it. Randy Orton's still in it. No one ever said, because he came in after the peak when people would ask the question.
I'm Randy Orton, huh? I've been known by a lot of names in this business, the Viper and that sort of thing. But I started out being known as the Legend Killer. And just to remind you who I am, I'm going to kill another legend right now. And therefore,
It's time to play the game! Time to play a game! Ha 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 ha!
Which legend will Randy Orton kill tonight on SmackDown?
Dangerous game.
Oh, yeah. I've got the WWE alumni page open in front of me. Pro Evo rules, of course.
Every single time we run into a bit of a snafu for obvious and depressing reasons. Stop.
Picking on between a 1 and 12.
7.
Right. I'm not going to take the one away from you here because it's Matt Camp, former presenter. So
Not a legend.
No.
Pretty good at his job. No legend.
Okay, so that one doesn't count.
You can say the same thing about me, Matt, so it's fine.
I'm scrolling again.
Stop.
Picking on between 1 and 12.
11.
Teo Man off of NXT we had him in, what was his name that he had him in WCPW? I forget.
Well, if you forget, he's not much of a legend, is he, buddy?
No. What's his name? Anyway, I'll come back to that. Right, back to the WWE alumni page. I'm scrolling again.
Stick here.
Oh, yeah. Do you want...
No, let's have to stick.
You're sticking with Teo, man?
No, but I'm saying I have to stick on the next one.
No. That first Matt Cam doesn't count.
Okay, so I've got 2 more goals. Right, stop.
Picking on between 1 and 12.
5.
Killian Dane.
Yeah.
I think we can get... I love Big Damo, but I think...
Some friendships aside, good guy. No legend.
No.
Best... You could argue he was the best part of the best rebooted War Games. IMO. But no legend. Keep going.
Okay. It's all on this one.
Stop.
Pick a number between 1 and 12.
6.
Right, I'm not going to give you this one either because I don't think Randy Orton tonight on SmackDown is going to RKO Isaiah Swerve Scott.
No. Okay.
What he's up to nowadays. I'm scrolling again.
Isaiah Swerve Scott. Who could forget?
Hey, Dave Meltzer loves a bit of swerve. Do you want to go up or down from here?
Down.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Pick a number between 1 and 12.
3.
We've got a legend who is alive.
Good.
Tonight,
that'd be a start.
We can exclusively reveal on the SmackDown Preview podcast, Randy Orton is going to RKO Papa Shango.
Oh, go on then. Jesus Christ, if you put Papa Shango, the Godfather, in today's WWE, I'm not convinced he'd be the worst worker.
Oh, no.
You got Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso there. You got John Cena.
Speaking of Backlash, though.
Hey, Shango had a match against Bret Hart in 1992. That's better than anything Cena's going to do for the rest of the year. So, who are you to doubt Papa Shango?
I suspect more Backlash matches will be added.
What? I know what Backlash is. What did you just say?
Backlash matches.
Okay.
Currently on the card, obviously, John Cena, Randy Orton, Lara Valkyria versus Becky Lynch, and Gunther versus Pat McAfee, which we are completely sold on after Pat's promo.
Yeah, regrettably, I am.
We talked about this a bit on the SmackDown review at the start of the week. Are you anticipating a 4-way for the US title? Because after all, after WrestleMania, it turns out multi-man match is pretty bloody good, actually.
No one never disputed that. It was the question all along, dickhead, was, do the ends justify the means? And then maybe the answer is yes.
Oh, there you go. But presumably, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight,
yeah,
Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd love that. I
really
really
could put Solo Sikoa in there to drive tension between him and Jacob, where he could they could do a spot where Claymore Solo gets through by the kegs, throws him out of the ring. Solo goes to pin Jacob Fatu, who kicks out at one with a, what the hell did you just do? What the hell did you just do? That could be good.
Or, yeah, in the build to it, it's confirmed or announced or alluded to the fact that we are going to get a 4-way because of the way things went last week with Debbie Deeks, obviously, with the Drew LA match to determine who was the number 1 contender to Fatu, who's not dropping that title for probably the rest of the year, let's be perfectly honest. Damian Priest gets involved, etc., etc. So did Solo. I would like, more of Jacob Fatu being like, stop involving yourself in my matches or matches that surround me. I'm fine. I can easily defend this US title with or without you, as I've said. I like the idea of SmackDown GM, I can't remember what his name is, saying, I think we should do a multi-man match for this
Do I say the name? Is that the bit?
We'll do it. We'll if I remember it, we'll maybe cover it off as I run through this card at the end.
Okay.
Suggesting that we could get a multi-man match. And Solo being like, maybe I should be in there. Jacob being like, why? He's like, well, 3 people coming for your title. You might need a bit of backup. And Jacob Fatu again is like, I don't know how many times I've got to say this. I do not need your help.
Are you stupid or something? Do you not get it?
But yeah, I think that seems to be the direction they're going in. In terms of the women's title as well, Tiffany Stratton, obviously still champion. Last week it was her and Jade Cargill. Naomi gets involved. Brutal attack on Jade Cargill from her. And then Nia Jax later. Right? Another multi-person match?
What? I drifted off.
For the women's title. Nia, Jade, Naomi, Tiff.
Yeah, if you like.
I'm trying to work
Do
out.
one of them on SmackDown, one of them on the pay.
I mean, you could put them both on. There's only 3 matches on there right now. Backlash.
That's enough.
What was Backlash? Oh, Backlash France last year. That was 5 matches.
Oh, I forgot about his little... to be honest, I wish AEW would do this. I'm an old dude. If you look at some of the best AEW cards in history, if they reduced them to 5, imagine they'll add more and it'll be like, didn't need that necessarily in my life. If Double or Nothing was simply Anarchy in the Arena, Hangman Ospreay, Jamie Hayter and Mercedes, plus 2 more or 3 more.
Yeah.
It could be like you're looking at best card ever in terms of pure all killer knee filler. Nice 2.5 hours. Let's go home. Every single time, bro. I know I say this on every podcast. And I'll probably say it ahead of Double or Nothing. There's always that one match where you're like, oh, for sake, man. And I got Daniel Garcia, Adam Cole. I was like, oh, all right, that's good. I'm bored of this, but there's only the good ones left. Oh, and then Jericho Bandito. Oh, dude. That's the feeling you want, innit, when you've paid your money. When you want the feeling to come back. The feeling of, oh, I don't want to watch this wrestling match because I forgot about it.
Just looking at the Backlash 2023 card there.
So it's honestly, these 5-match papes is the best thing Triple H has ever done in his stupid life.
Puerto Rico show was 7 matches at Backlash. One of which was Austin Theory beating Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed in a triple threat for the US title. Different time. It's a different time.
2023, that, yeah?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What a card that was. Bianca Rio. Rhea Zelina Vega, obviously. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest.
That was real good stuff. Bam, 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 bam. Come here.
That's the only bit I remember. But yeah, I don't know whether I want them to do 2 matches of a similar ilk in terms of
5 marks.
Of like, these people have just been fighting, but now they're all in it together. Like with Jade, Naomi,
I'm sure when you and Hamflett come to review it, you'll say it's like you've achieved Nirvana.
I'm sure they'll absolutely knock it out of the park.
Yeah, you've achieved Nirvana like you always do on these SmackDown podcasts. Where's my Nirvana?
Well, your Nirvana was arguably in the main event of SmackDown last week, that amazing TLC match.
That's not going nuts.
It was amazing.
I enjoyed it a lot.
What do you do now with this? I was going to say what next for the Street Profits, but also I suppose what next for this tag division, because it feels like they've spent months. I was astonished that they did not put this match, especially with what happened, although as we mentioned on the review, it wouldn't have probably gone as wild or as long, certainly, as it was allowed to go on last week's SmackDown had it been on WrestleMania. But they put so much work into like DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, Los Garza, Pretty Deadly and all that. And now it feels like that's out of the way. Fraxium have just turned up on the main roster, so it feels like too soon to do something like that. But how do you refresh this SmackDown tag division, or what do you do next with them? Is it about the Street Profits turning heel? They're so well liked.
They could use their excellent performance in that like rave reviewed match as a platform to just be the cool babyface champions and people love them, you know? Restore them to where they were trending a couple of years ago. Or alternatively, you could have them defend the title, but maybe the odd time, like, be a bit sneaky with it and start to slowly embrace being heels because there's a new tag team who are blow away great, who are almost destined to win the titles if this fight fair for Axiom. So let's not, piss about. We're going to have to turn and take the shortcuts because these guys are too good. In the meantime, you build up Fraxium in a program with DIY premised on kind of a similar deal where they're already heels, so it's fine. There'd be a different complexion to it. But the idea being like, these kids are like us, but younger and better. We need to draw on all of our dark arts to do it. And look, it's not as if anything's spoiling with DIY in terms of like them being mid-card gatekeepers these days, because quite frankly, they're not really over. They never will be. Have you ever been around dogs in your life, Wilbourn?
Occasionally, yeah.
You ever had a dog?
I've never had a dog. I've like babysat a dog on occasion years ago for a mate of mine.
What breed?
Yeah, that's what the question that got me in trouble with. I was like, it reminds me of a story. She was called Cassie, if I remember rightly, and I was just walking around my beloved Chesterfield, feeling like the cock of the walk. Like, yeah, I've got a dog. That's right. This is my dog.
I've never grown up here.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed it. I don't think I could look up. I certainly couldn't with Annalie's allergies and what have you. I wouldn't have a dog right now, but I love dogs. Complete polar opposit to him. Anytime I see a dog, oh, brilliant, there's a dog. Like I'll audibly say that out loud to Annalise. You can see there's a dog. Right? I'm in the car with my head out the window. There's a dog over there.
You are a bit of a dog.
I am. A bit of an old banter hound.
Indeed. So you've been around dogs,
yes.
Right?
So when I was walking this dog...
Did you walk it or was it in your home as well?
Both. It was in the home and it was like, right, time to take Cassie for a walk. I was like, I'll take her. Took her out, walking around the old neighbourhood and bumped into a fellow dog walker. And I'm like, yeah, we're both dog walkers, aren't we? They're like, oh, it's a nice dog you got. Oh, yeah, this is Cassie. What's the name of your dog? Who cares? I got a dog. Don't care about it. And they went, oh, what a lovely dog. What breed is she? Dog breed. I knew she was like half whippet, but not... I was like, whippet and something else. They're like, oh, what else? Dog? Another dog.
What's the dog?
I was like, my brain was like, can't say Labrador because it's clearly not that.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't know it. Probably not as much of a dog person as I am. Not sure if you're aware of that. Anyway, sorry.
Did you, months did you walk this dog?
Summer months.
So this genuinely summer.
Yeah.
So this dog was real thirsty.
Uh-huh.
Real thirsty after a long walk, especially sweltering summer heat.
Can't sweat, can they, dogs? That's why.
So they do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when, they got this like really cool, beautiful bowl of water.
Yeah.
What does it sound like? That's Johnny Gargano licking the boot. So at this point in his career...
I've got to wear my pocket square for this podcast. That's a shame.
At this point, Johnny Gargano could get asked by Paul Levesque, Johnny, yes, sir. Could you put some guys over and Evolve? Anything you like, sir. I'm here to please. Like this, God damn it. Honestly, like a dehydrated dog drinking water on a day that's just too hot. That is the ferocity with which Johnny Gargano licks the boot of Paul Levesque. So at this point, if he gets told, could he put Fraxium over? Yes, sir.
What's your opinion now of...
That's what I would do.
What's your opinion now looking back? Because it's still one of my favourite matches ever, the Gargano-Cole, the one we were lucky to be at Barclays, 2 out of 3 falls.
I'll never forget their ability to engineer drama. It was incredible. I was jet lagged. I hadn't slept in well over 24 hours. It was an intense, chaotic day. I was absolutely exhausted. And I was like, my eyelids were so heavy. I think I fell asleep during like the first 10 minutes. My eyes were like that. I was literally asleep. And then I never felt more awake and alive, really. The drama was amazing. If you go back and watch some of the work in the first 5 minutes, it's a really sloppy version of, we're so slippery and we know each other so well and I know what you're going to do 3 moves ahead. It's such a choreographed routine, that first 5 minutes. But the drama was undeniable. Like, that Olympic breakdancer who went viral last year.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Gargano looks like as a wrestler to me in those matches.
What was her name? I need to remember that. By the way, shout out as always to Brian Weddig, he of the SmackDown Photoshop. I was thinking maybe...
I think he knows where to go with this Photoshop.
I think you walking me is this week's Photoshop. Thoughts?
Gargano as Scooby-Doo.
Ray Gun. That was it.
Johnny Ray Gargano. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to tell an artist, a great artist, what to do with their Photoshops. What's that you're looking at?
I'm looking at the WCW roster because it's a Lucky Kid. There it is. I'm trying to remember who we had, who was Teo Man in NXT. or NXT UK, I should say. What else was I going to ask you? Oh, yeah, I really like that, by the way, as a pitch for Fraxium going forward. DIY, because A, it's going to be a good match, and B, what's the one thing that we know about the history of Fraxium facing tag teams? They're on the verge of breaking up.
I've rescind idea, rescind
let's
pitch.
go.
I do not need to see Gargano versus Ciampa. In fact, though, it'd be funny if... I think it's the most... That certain things in wrestling at the time are amazing, and then just the age, like, frightfully out of fashion. This will still have its defenders, as will the Gargano-Ciampa feud, in fairness. Like, Tommy Dreamer and Raven. I get it. It was ambitious. It went on for ages, right? My God, has that just aged in a way that, I mean, the whole point is like Tommy Dreamer takes both of Raven's chicks. It's like so lame. It's so lame. Gargano Ciampa might have aged more poorly than any other thing, because at the time people thought this is amongst the best wrestling ever. I don't think anyone thinks that anymore. At least no one with taste.
But run it back in 2025.
Yeah, purely so. It might be too tragic for even me, who likes a bit of, you know. I feel like I'm punching down on them, but at the same time, don't be so... have some goddamn... Have a spine, Johnny. Having Levesque's face in your pocket, Chief. What is it?
Pocket square.
Pocket square. Come, have some dignity. Jesus Christ, I was almost sick looking at that. It
was. I mean, I saw it only through your tweet about it, by the way.
Oh, people did not like it.
No, I got that. One quick thing.
Because Johnny Gargano is what they're like.
One quick thing I would like to ask you about, actually. I may never get to ask you about, because it's not regularly on the SmackDown previews or reviews. What are your thoughts generally on Bianca Belair and the Street Profits becoming a thing? Because I know WWE has got a checkered history of real-life relationships being blended into wrestling.
I don't think it's got any function at all. Is this the thing? Is it happening?
No, I'm just. Well, Bianca's obviously
people wanting it to happen.
Broken her fingers. I mean, you know, they've got their Tez and
she can even work through that.
Tez and Bianca have got that TV show, I think.
Did that not come and go?
I don't know, but you know, they're obviously incredibly charismatic people, both of them. I just always get worried whenever they go. Like when people, I like the idea of Becky Lynch in a stable that's like normally full of men, but I know what happened last time Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch were in a.
It's not just Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. There might be one, you know, with a big nose who knows and trips you up and laughs when you fall. But has there ever been like a happily together couple who were on TV just as a romantic partnership? People were like, I love them together. They're bloody great. Like, you don't want to see. I don't know. Another thing, it's like, it just drives resentment. It's like, oh, you're bloody happy. Super, incredibly beautiful people, incredible athletes.
But it's heels?
They're obviously bonking it all over the place now.
What about as heels? Like Street
Jealous
Profits
of that.
and Bianca as heels?
I don't trust them to do anything.
No.
I mean, they're under the fortunately for them, their careers are on the whim of Road Dogg.
Oh, God.
Nothing's going to go right.
Before I ask you about one final thing with regards to SmackDown, bit of a football tangent, because we are fast approaching the end of the season. Big end of the season for Newcastle. Where are you standing right now? Third?
Nottingham Forest down in 6, having lost at home to Brentford, which was cost me £2.
Oh, I've
been doing £2 bets. I'm going to be doing £2 bets. Don't tell them, missus. £2 bets on every fixture that has got ramifications on Newcastle's bid to go to the Champions League. So whoever Chelsea have got this weekend, £2 on them. City.
Wolves tonight.
I'm not doing that. That's a waste of money there. No, even if I get 80 pence back or whatever, it's probably still worth it. Yeah, Villa, £2 on them to win. So at least if they chip away at Newcastle's points, at least get some money out of it.
Yeah, if you're sad, you're happy.
Yeah, Newcastle have got Brighton away this weekend. Then I believe it goes Brighton away, Chelsea home, Arsenal away, Everton home. Away, trickier running than you think. Chelsea at home.
Newcastle as well got a bit of a checkered history against Seagulls. Let's not forget. So
That's Sunderland.
Well, Kitty.
So
Wakes.
it was the Mackham who shagged the seagull.
Oh, I wasn't even referencing that. I was just talking about Kitty Wakes.
What?
I'm talking about the problem with Kitty Wakes and them pooing everywhere in the city centre.
All right, no, there was a Mackham shag. Someone from Sunderland tried to shag a seagull. Do you not know?
No.
I'll show you on the computer.
I'm good.
On the computer later.
So punching horses and shagging seagulls.
They're both bad. Don't come to the northeast of England. Actually, some beautiful coasts and historical sites, so do.
Hey, with how bad Athletic Club played last night in red and white, I was like, we were watching.
I'm telling, they were awful. I couldn't believe how terrible they were.
What was Nico Williams doing?
Was it defenders digging? Like Dorgu, who's like the one Man U player other than Bruno Fernandes who's going to emerge from all of this with a degree of credit this season, other than when they're all champion for winning the cup. I hate it so much. Like Dorgu just had free reign down that left-hand side. Couldn't get near him. We got Brighton away. I don't believe we've ever beaten them in the Prem away. So that's not good. But then again, we never won a freaking cup for 70 years either. So curses don't exist. They're a tricky proposition. Uneven, but a tricky proposition. And history is not in our favour. Chelsea, we tend to do them. At St. James, even under like Mourinho, like we've just always had this weird hex.
That Cisse goal.
Yeah, a weird hex over Chelsea. Arsenal away, they'll be up for it. Even though they've got nothing to play for, like we've embarrassed them in that League Cup. And we're 100% against them this season. We beat them at St. James as well. So we ended up winning that match. I think we did. They'll be up for it. And they're really good on that day. Real good on that day. And then Everton, I've just in my head got this, like they've got this stunning low block, really difficult to play against, really physical. And we don't have Joe Linton out. He's probably out for the season. We need Joe Linton against Everton.
Pickford as well. We'll want to do
he gets head loss at St. James. He's good at.
I've been there for this.
Good as somebody gets head loss at St. James, but he'll be up for it. I think the running is way trickier than a lot of Newcastle fans think. But I'm the wrong person for football tangent. Just let my anxieties take over my rational analysis with this. What about Chesterfield?
Well, I'm just in this state of enjoying it right now, and shout out to everyone who met up with us in Las Vegas, but in particular, the wonderful Lee Pickering of Lean Gate Valves, Chesterfield sponsor, including next season. I'll show you our new shirt when we finish up here. And Matt Rains, who has been keeping in touch with what's going on with Chesterfield and keeping an eye in, sent me
I always check for your results on the Saturday.
He sent me a GIF of, so you're telling me there's a chance, because this weekend is the final weekend of the Football League, and we've got an outside shot of just sneaking into the playoffs. We are 2 places outside the playoffs, but 2 of the teams in and around us play each other, which means so long as we win, and we are playing Accrington Stanley this weekend, as long as we win, we would go above one of those teams. This is a personal message to Carlisle United. Look, I know it's been a really hard season for you. I know, unfortunately, you suffered relegation. And let me tell you, the National League ain't a barrel of laughs. But if you could find it within yourselves to just draw, just get a result against Salford City, and then we get in the playoffs. We need a result, basically. We need results to go in our favour.
Salford as well. It's like they're like moneyed. They'll be up for that. Surely. Let's get these clowns and deprive them of their promotion opportunity.
Yeah, a draw or a loss, obviously, and a win for us. What's going to happen is they're going to draw and we're going to lose or something against a team that have gotten out to play for to like 18th or something in League Two. But either way, it's all over this weekend, league-wise. I don't think it's a chance in the playoffs anyway, but funny, innit?
Funny.
Right, finally, I want to ask you about someone who I know you are a big fan of on WWE Friday Night SmackDown, and that is Chelsea Green. Shock US title loss to Zelina Vega last week. We spoke all about it on the review. Is this with a view of freeing her up to do other things? And as part of that, Does that mean, not immediately, like I say, we've got Jade Cargill, Naomi, Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair could come back into the mix. Who knows? Tiffany Stratton's busy with all that right now. But long term, is there a chance that Chelsea Green can become a world title contender? Because the fan support's there.
Yes, and hopefully this is, as you say, just clearing her runway to take off. Like, if you're a writer with your salt, you've got to be relishing the idea of booking Chelsea Green as Mrs. Money in the Bank.
Oh, yes.
The amount of stuff you could do with her holding that briefcase, not just, like customizing the briefcase itself, the physical briefcase, but her cashing in or trying to cash in. And then, like, she's got such a great expressive face, great comedic physical timing. The idea of her berating the referee for not doing it quick enough and scurrying away with a briefcase.
Secret Hervis could carry it for her.
Yeah, there's so much they can do with that particular character and her grievances and entitlement with that Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm sure if I sat down and just like mapped something out, and I'm not a really creative person, I'm more analytical, I reckon you could come up with loads of ideas.
That's great. I didn't even think of that as Money in the Bank. That's a really, really good shout. Like, there's so much potential for her. It's a great gateway to give her that title win that gets a babyface reaction regardless, but people are ready to support her as a babyface, even if she's got this Secret Hervis with her. You could have, and I know it doesn't work that people steal briefcases because it's still your briefcase at the end of the day, but I do like the idea of, like, when the security people come and collect stuff from banks and they have to like carry it out into the van and they've got the helmet on and stuff. Handcuffing the briefcase to one of the Secret Hervis, just in case.
Absolutely. It's like a GM threatening to take it off her, and she's like aggrieved. Then she'll come up with a technicality as to why she can have it back. Like, there's so much they can do.
That's a great shout. I really hope so, because I'm intrigued to see how Zelina Vega does with this US title. I'm very happy for her for getting a singles title, obviously, but my attention is far more on Chelsea Green and what the future holds for her. But let us know what you think ahead of tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Continue the conversation with us on X at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow Michael Sidgwick there at
Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. But for now, this has been the SmackDown preview, where Michael Sidgwick, we've talked about Chelsea Green becoming a world title contender. The fact there's only a month left, of 3 hours of SmackDown. What's next for the Street Profits? Randy Orton set to appear. Are there going to be more Backlash matches added? And tonight is Aleister Black's in-ring return. The SmackDown preview, it's got all this and so much more. We'll see you soon.